Hey everyone, it's me Michelle again and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing up some more freezer meals. These are the dinners from my 1 month of groceries off of $350. My plan was to make each meal and then split it into fours. That way it would technically even out to one dinner per night, so you would have one for each week and you just rotate. That being said, I kind of ran out of my room in my freezers, so there was some of them that I did have to make fresh. This one is the smothered pork chops, and I took each of these packages and I put one in a gallon Ziploc bag, and then I added cream of mushroom soup, cream of chicken soup, mushrooms, ranch seasoning, onion, garlic, and a little bit of pepper. I think I added the pepper at the end because I forgot them while I was doing it the first time, but we're going to put these together and I threw them in the crock pot and I'll serve them over either rice or mashed potatoes, just depends on what we were feeling that night, if the kids were going to complain about rice or not. But they are super cheap. I know a lot of people don't like to use a lot of processed foods, but seeing as how I was trying to stay on an extremely small grocery budget, these, unfortunately, they're kind of the cheaper foods. And they're going to last and hold up better in the freezer and defrost better. So, I mean, we don't eat like that all the time. I cook a bunch of different stuff usually, but we are planning a huge vacation that is going to be so much money, and I was just really trying to cut costs. One of those was groceries. So, I mean, we eat processed, super processed for a month, and then we're back to it. So, in the grand scheme of things, I don't feel too bad about it. For the next couple of recipes, I'm using this gigantic 10-pound roll of ground beef, and I'm going to be doing up enchiladas first. I did beef and beans, so that helped the meat to stretch a little bit more, and it also gave the kids a little more bulk, or everybody, we all ate it. And I'm making 4 different pans of these. I actually ended up having tortillas left too, so that ended up going for lunch. That was how I was able to make the refried bean burritos that I had shown in that video. But I'm just using this in its taco seasoning it like I would, and then just adding in the refried beans and then the enchilada sauce and mixing it all together. Then to the bottom of my disposable pan, I am adding some enchilada sauce and making sure it is all spread. The things like the aluminum foil and the disposable pans, I didn't add that when I said it was $350 just because they are non-edible. I didn't feel like it was a fair assessment. You also don't need them. You could just do it in Pyrex or whatever you had. You could just get the ingredients and make them fresh every night. But I know myself, and the more that I have to clean between now and the time that we leave, the more difficult it's going to be for me to catch up with everything else. So I want it as easy as possible so that I wasn't leaving a messy house, and I just wanted to be able to just throw the pans away. Plus, I could get all this done, freeze it, and not have to be bothered every night. And that also saved me from being tempted to eat out, which is something, unfortunately, we do kind of semi-regularly. Maybe about twice a week or so we'll eat out. trying to cut down on that, but one of my biggest things that pushes me to eat out is not having anything made for dinner and not having anything taken out. So this is already done. I have no excuses, and we're now, at the time I'm doing the voiceover, I waited shamefully long. We're about like 5 or 6 days out from leaving, and we have eaten out maybe twice in the whole entire month, and one of those was for a birthday. So we did pretty good on staying on task for cost, and it did help me a lot. Anyway, so this next batch is going to be chili, and I'm just going to make it like I've done chili in the past. I do the same chili for Frito pie, and I do for everything else. And it's just browning up the ground meat. I added a bunch of the taco or chili seasoning packets. That's just because this is really a big pan. That's at least 2 or 3 pounds of ground beef that I put in there. And then I'm going to be adding in the chili beans and the tomato sauce and getting that all going together. For the recipes that are in the freezer bags, you want to make sure that you put them on a cookie sheet or something like that so that they're all going to freeze flat and they're not taking up a whole bunch of space or getting stuck in the freezer door. We learned that lesson when we were kids, putting away spaghetti sauce. But yes, we want to make sure they're nice and flat so that they are able to take out, and they also defrost a lot easier this way. Up next is a whole bunch of pasta. The pasta I'm using is different than the one that I had shown when I list out the groceries, just because I got these on sale and I wanted to use them up. I also mixed pasta shapes. I boiled up the 4 pounds of pasta. They weren't all the same shape. We mixed it up. Kids thought it was amazing. I don't know. It just really doesn't matter. If that's something that bothers you, then absolutely make sure they're the same, but in this case, they weren't, because I got what was on the clearance section. I think I paid 60 cents a piece for those at the time that I got them. But I'm making up spaghetti sauce and putting down a layer into the bottom of the pan so that everything doesn't stick or like just get nasty on the bottom. And then I'm throwing in pasta. It was really simple, and then I give them a quick stir before I put the cheese on, and then just cover everything up. And for this, I'm only showing the last 2 pans, but I did get 4 pans out of the baked pasta, as well as the other ones are all 4. So everything I'm making was enough to make the meal 4 times. Now for this next one, I am making ahead garlic bread. That's why it is so much butter. I'm doing 2 loaves of bread, and then I'm going to split each loaf into halves. So 2 loaves of bread is going to go for 4 meals, because each meal will get a half of a loaf. And I'm making all the other bread products, like the corn muffins that go with the chili or the pancakes, anything like that. I was making them fresh. This one I just froze up because for whatever reason, those Walmart loaves of bread, they will mold if I leave them on my counter for more than 2 days, even in the fridge. I'm not sure what kind of paper or plastic they are covered in, but they go bad so fast. So I just wanted to make sure they were out of the way so I was not wasting food. And then I'm just going to cut it up and put it into freezer bags and put those along with all the other ones back into my freezer. This last meal that I'm getting ready to make is just a chicken, broccoli, and rice casserole. It has cream of chicken, cream of mushroom, rice, cooked chicken, broccoli, and cheese. And that is pretty much all that goes in there, along with ranch seasoning and onion, garlic, pepper. You really have to season it. It has rice in it and broccoli and chicken, and those are all three things that my kids either love or hate depending on the day, so I make sure to season them like I don't season anything else to try to get these kids to eat it. They actually liked it. I'll consider that a win. But that is my last meal, the last set of meals for this video. And this is just an overview of what my grocery shopping list looked like. I added in some things that I already had, but I wanted to make sure I had the ingredients, like everything that I would have used for any of the recipes, so that it was an accurate representation of how much it would actually cost to feed my family. And it came up to just about $350. The final price ended up being $345, but I say that's pretty good for a family my size of 6. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If this is the kind of video you'd like to see again, just let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!